All right, you guys. So this session's meant to be really interactive. My family is cute. I have to agree with that. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and a couple of y'all know me. I recognize Claire. I can't see who else is on, but hello again. I love Park. I love learning from you guys, and hopefully you guys will learn some stuff from me today about installment plans and how I doubled my income and how you can too. Excuse me. So of course, digital commerce has evolved, right? So people are giving payment options, they're doing installment options. So we're going to dig into that, looking at payments outside of the more traditional upfront payment method, because not everyone can afford some of our packages, right? I know some folks are like $99 for a resume. My packages are like $1,600 for a resume. So let's kind of walk through what that looks like. So anywho, we're talking about installment plans. We're talking about payment plans versus installment plans, benefits of the plans, offering the plans, and different types of plans. So do me a favor and drop a Y in the chat if you have an installment plan currently. And I can't even see the chat.
Do you need me to read it to you?
Yes, please. That would be nice.
Okay. So I said, I don't, but I will.
Okay.
Mark Missiano said, I don't, I want one. And that's
Cool.
it.
All right, cool. So Margaret kind of touched on my career trajectory-ish. It's been really cool since I started my business. I got my certification with Park, and then branched out to a couple of other organizations. And this is just kind of a window into who I am, professionally speaking. I started my career back in 2001, but officially started my business in 2016. And it's been a blast since then. Enough about me. So we're going to talk about our challenges, right? So take a second to look at the challenges. And give you like 10 seconds. It's a lot of words on there. All right, now drop a Y in the chat if any one of those resonate with you. Just the challenges.
We have a yes.
Who said yes?
Mark did. Yup, from Kevin. Yes,
Okay.
yes. 100% from Becca.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. So let's talk a little bit more about what plagues us. So collecting payments from clients who may not be able to afford your payments, it's awkward, right? You may not be able to set up the payments. How do you manage unpaid invoices? I know some folks, it's rare, but they'll do the work and then expect payments afterwards. I don't know why anyone would do that, but they do. How many of you guys get your payments up front, or at least 50%?
I get all of it up front.
All of it
Amen.
up front.
Amen.
All of it.
Amen. Okay,
Okay.
good. Whew. I was worried. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so another challenge that can happen with folks not being able to pay is, especially like if you build those relationships with your clients, it's really awkward to say, hey, I am having some financial difficulties. Some folks are just really funny about money and they don't want to tell you that. So the great thing about installment plans is you remove yourself from the situation and they deal directly with whoever that provider is. I'm sure you guys have heard of like Affirm or Afterpay. Drop a Y in the chat.
Got lots of Y's.
Yes, good. I like to use them too. I bought my washer and dryer with them. So I use it. I love it. Zero interest plans, etc. So let's kind of, when I tell you I doubled my income this is my part-time, like my full-time is another story, but on my part-time, this is what my Stripe account looked like for 2022. And I implemented Shopify and it literally doubled, basically 97% increase by offering installments. So let's talk about what the difference is. I'll let you guys take a look at that for a second. So installment plans are third-party managed. Some of them have processing fees. The one that I use has processing fees. And of course, they also calculate taxes. Payment plans, I've used that as well. I try not to use that. It's a lot more work for me. And the cons, of course, it's self-managed and you have to kind of manage that stuff on your own. So the good thing about installment plans is it's easy for people to budget that into their budget. The total cost of the purchase is divided over multiple payments over a set period. There's more flexibility with it. So different providers will say like pay in four. They'll give you the pay in full option. You can pay over 12 months. You can pay over 2 weeks if you want to. So that depends on what the client chooses. A lot of them don't have interest. And it gives folks access to higher priced items. Like when I bought those Gucci shoes for $500. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, it helps because when folks like you and they're ready to invest, they want to invest, but they can't necessarily charge it to their Visa. So the installment plans come in handy. All right, so let's talk about setting up payment plans. Again, these are self-managed. I try not to use those. You can use your current provider. So who here uses Stripe? Anybody use Stripe?
Yeah, we got a couple, 3, 4,
Okay.
5. Yeah, lots of people.
Does anyone here offer a payment plan? Not an installment plan, but an actual payment plan where you work with the customer to pay stuff off before you get the work done or before you do the work?
No, no, yes, no.
Okay. One yes. Okay. Cool. Who said yes?
Dahlia.
Dahlia. Okay. All right, cool. So you have an idea of some of the challenges that go along with setting up payment plans. Dahlia, or maybe Dahlia, who do you use for your installment or your payment plan?
You pronounced my name correctly the first time, Dahlia.
Dahlia? It's Dahlia?
The first, with whichever one.
Okay.
I manage it. I manage it myself. I don't use any type of provider because it's not like large, like $1,000 or whatever. So it's like pretty easy, payments like, $100, every 2 weeks or whatever, and finish it. But I just manage it myself. I haven't used PayPal or Stripe or Meet or whatever some of the other ones are called.
Okay. All right, cool. So when you get, and I'm sending out good vibes here, when you start getting tons of clients, it becomes difficult to manage some of those payment plans. So that's why I'm bringing this up now so that you can start taking a look at maybe installment plans or payment plan providers that will meet your needs and take some of the burden off of you. So firstly, with payment plans, you want to make sure that you're communicating with the customer about their payment options. You have to stay on top of it. So email, phone calls, in-person meetings. You want clear information about the payment plan. You want clear information about the schedule, the interest rates, or any applicable fees. Secondly, the business and the customer need to agree on the terms of the payment plan. Third, you'll want to have a written agreement outlining the payment plan. And of course, a way of actually tracking the payment plan. So that's what I mean when I say it is a lot of work. I have done maybe like 3 payment plans because I just don't like doing that much work. Here's when I tried. I did a test. This is actually my sister, just to see like if the payment plan deal would work. And I was using Partially. So Partially, it's a payment plan service. It allows customers to pay for products or services you actually set as the service provider. You set whether or not you want the offer to be 12 months or if you want it to be 6 months. And Partially will hook up that person's credit card or debit card information, and they will draft that money directly from the client. Now, let's just say the client doesn't have the money in their account and Partially tries to draft it. Now you're stuck having potentially done the work and not received the money. Now you're having to call the client to say, hey, where's my money? Just really awkward conversations that I try to avoid. But in the case that someone really wants to work with me, or I really think that I could help someone or whatever have you, I'll do a payment plan and they'll get this email over here. It's kind of hard to see. Let's see. It's an automated email to where it tells them, hey, we're excited to work with you. We're going to deduct the remaining 50% of the investment within 2 weeks. That's the standard. I don't change that for anyone because, again, I hardly do payment plans. So let's talk about when it comes to payment plans. Again, get the customer's permission to save the card info, set appropriate expectations with the timelines when their project will begin. So for instance, if I tell you that I'm going to take the payment in 2 weeks, I'm not starting the project until I get that final payment. You'll want to make sure that you automate as much as you can because, again, it's a very cumbersome process. So if you can set an automatic email like I did for when the customer makes a partial payment, that would be really helpful as well. I have automatic calendars that CC the client and myself as to when the payment is due. So there's no questions. They're getting like 35 pieces of communication. What you should not do, don't write down payment information, save it in a secure format. Don't forget to tell the customer about taxes and fees, and don't forget to tell them about delivery times and payment due dates. All right, so now let's dig into setting up the installment plan. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen, have any of you guys used the 1 through 12, any one of these from a consumer perspective? And if so, which one?
Getting a couple yeses.
Okay.
Affirm, PayPal, Affirm. Klarna? Is that how you pronounce that?
It's Klarna.
Klarna, PayPal, Affirm.
Okay, good deal. So the most popular ones obviously are your Affirm and your Klarnas. So these are all buy now, pay later methods. These are very popular. You can purchase goods and services. At first, it was kind of difficult to add services on to some of these platforms, but now it's not an issue. Customers will make their installments. You get paid up front. I'm going to say it again. You get your money up front. So let's just say a client decides to purchase a plan for $1,600. And a lot of times, actually, there's no payment due on the day that they purchase. And within 30 days, their first payment is due. But within 3 days, I have my money in my account. So they pay on Monday, money's in my account by Wednesday or Thursday. No services have been done, but I'm already paid, and they have the option of paying at whatever agreement they set up with one of these installment plan providers. So let's kind of walk through some of the pros and cons of each. So Affirm offers flexible payment. They do a soft credit check, does not impact any credit score at all, and they only do purchases for over $50. Afterpay does up to $2,000. Most of these do soft hits, but I don't think Afterpay, they charge for late fees and missed payments. ShopPay, which is the one that I use with Shopify, they do have fees. They do the taxes for you. And I think I pay like $29 a month, which is totally worth it to offer installment plans. I want to say they do purchases over like $150. Klarna, they offer those flexible payment options, no interest or fees. They do a soft check, and they do charge for missed payments. Split It is the same thing. You can do purchases over $50 and things that are interest-free installments. So interest-free is what you want to go for. And I know with ShopPay, the shorter the term is it's more likely for you to get an interest-free option. And of course, if you're going out to like 12 months, they're going to start charging you interest on that. Sezzle is all.
I'm sorry. What did you say about Klarna and another one? No interest fees. Which one?
Yeah, Klarna offers flexible payment options with no interest or fees for customers who pay on time.
At any price. Okay.
At least that's the information when I researched it. That was what it was. So, Quad Pay, You can go up to $1,500, no credit check required. Sezzle, you can split interest-free installments, no credit check required. Zip is up to $1,000. PayPal credit is over 99. A couple of you guys said that you used it. And then there's a lay-by for purchases up to $1,200. So let's talk about how in the world do you choose from this list as 12? And these are just the 12 most popular ones. There's more, but I wanted to show you guys those 12 so we can kind of walk through what are some of those things that are important. I started just blurting off a bunch of facts about them, but here's what you really should be looking at. So what are the fees and interest rates associated with a buy now, pay later program? You'll want to know the repayment terms and how flexible they are. And y'all can screenshot some of these questions too, just so that when you go do your own research, you'll know exactly what to be looking for. You'll want to know the approval process for you and for your client, because when you're setting everything up, there is an approval process. Klarna will sometimes say, hey, you might not be the right service provider for this type of buy now, pay later. And then you check the deuces and go try out PayPal credit, or you go try out Sezzle or another provider. They don't all accept service providers. You want to know what types of businesses, just like I mentioned, are eligible for the program. How does the provider handle customer service, inquiries, and disputes? That's also important. How to dispute with PayPal. It was a couple of years ago. You'll want to know how long they take to resolve disputes, and what they do with the money in the meantime. What is the maximum credit limit available, and is it adjustable? And then what is the reporting process, and how frequently will you receive reports? And that really helps come tax season. So let's walk through how to get started. And I'm going to give you guys a live view too of my Shopify account. So first, you'll want to create an account. You'll want to create your web page. So using Shopify, I keep bringing up Shopify again because that's who I use. You'll want to create your web page. And a pro tip, don't do what I did. So my URL is theresumechick.com, and me being me, use that same URL with Shopify. So one day a customer is like, hey, I can't access your website, and my Shopify wasn't ready. So they're like, hey, I can't access your website. What is this? It's saying that it's coming soon. And I'm like, coming soon? I'm on the phone with Shopify and GoDaddy trying to figure out how to get my URL back. Don't do it. Just create a separate URL so that you're not messing with your money, okay? And then you'll want to customize your products using their AI feature to create content. So the purpose of this whole discussion is to make things easy for you and to get more money from your client. That's where we are. So, and how we got there, your client basically said, hey, I can't afford the traditional form of payment, right? You get to the end of your conversation and you're like, okay, it's going to be $16.79. Is that going to be Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express? I say that quite frequently. Obviously, I said it really fast. And they're like, hey, I can't really afford it. Let me talk to my husband. Let me talk to my wife. Let me talk to whoever I need to. Okay, you can't afford it. So let's talk about how we can get this down to maybe $120 a month. Is that something that you can fit into your budget? Well, yeah, that sounds, that sounds doable, especially since I'm ready to invest. I want to, get my career off the ground, et cetera. Okay, so now you've kind of leaped over that first barrier of rejection, and we're going to walk through what that sales process looks like. We're going to talk about how to get customers to that installment plan. And then I'm going to show you how to actually customize the products on the platform. All right. So Claire, I know you've seen this before. If you're still on the phone, you've seen me like drive home cognito to the high heavens. So I'm going to pull up.
And while you're doing that, we have a question.
Yes.
Do you feel that Shopify creates a marketing avenue for you also?
So they do have marketing. I'll be honest with you, I don't use it for that. I'm strictly on there to lead clients to the links that they can pay. I'm literally only on there. I pay my $29 a month and I don't worry about anything else on Shopify, but they do have a very robust marketing program. I just haven't tapped into it. Great question. So here is, I'll give you guys the condensed view, maybe. This is where I kind of walk customers through the program or the conversation with them. What are you interested in? Yada, yada, yada. You ask them, you share your process, right? Sign the service agreement, you paid us, blah, 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 kind of setting those expectations. And then they get here and you're like, okay, do you want to, invest your time or whatever have you? They're like, I can't afford it. So you get to this section on my actual form. It says the person paid with Shopify. Maybe I should just pull that up. Hold on. I have. Here we go. All right, so here's my actual discovery form. Ask some questions, resume drop, etc. They get down here and it says approval to process payment, partial payment, no. So if it is a partial payment, that's what triggers that email. And if they paid on Shopify, then it won't trigger certain email functions with this. So they get to the point, they can't pay here. I'm hoping that, well, I'll pause here. I'm going to ask this question. How many folks use Zoom or some sort of video conferencing tool for their conversations with clients? Drop a Y in the chat.
Yes, yes. Or why? Practically everybody.
Perfect. Okay, good. So this is really cool because then you can just grab the link, and I'm actually going to show you what that looks like in 35 seconds. Let's see if this will work for me. Let's go to my next page. Oh, come on. Oh, good. Technology is on my side today. Thank you. All right, so here's what it looks like. I'll literally send them this link and they'll walk through the link with me. So I'll ask them to share their screen. So of course, if they have any questions, I can answer it. But mostly it's because of that ASK. It's to keep them on the phone until they pay. So they'll walk through, this is what they're seeing. They'll click on the shop pay option. They'll type in their email address. At this part, it usually asks you for the debit card number. You cannot use a credit card for installment plans. Don't ask me why. It'll ask you for the debit card number, and it's just to see if they're going to get approved. That's just for the soft check. This is the longest waiting process ever because this is the actual approval process. And the whole time you're sitting there like, I hope my system works. I hope my system works and I hope they get approved. And so these are the options that come up, or at least came up for me. I'm going to click on each one. And you see due today is $0. And I want to see the interest is different for each. But it's really cool. You get to that point, they punch in the last four of their social, etc. So it's really cool to walk through that process with them to kind of help them see like they can afford the item. It's just a matter of looking at other resources. Let me move this back up here. So I'm going to show you a live view, hopefully.
Question. So
Yeah.
why would they, if there's interest for them on Shopify, why would they use that over a credit card? Or did you say?
I had one where they were close to reaching their credit card limit. And that option was personalized to me. I don't know why they wanted to give me interest, but a lot of clients, it'll give them an option to where they can pay in 4 payments. And it won't it won't tax them on the interest. It won't say anything about interest if you pay it off in 4 payments, or if you pay it off in 6 payments, or biweekly, or whatever. But once you start
Oh,
getting
okay.
into some of those, that's not for everyone. I don't know what algorithm they use to tailor whatever it is, but everyone has their own individual plan, which is really cool.
But to reiterate, you said some
Yeah.
of these programs don't have interest and some have if you pay it off in 6 months, right?
Right.
Then there's no interest. Okay.
Right.
Does
Yeah.
Shopify do the, if you pay it off in 6 months, there's no interest?
That's what I'm saying. They have different programs for each person. So just like how we had the 3 for me, your program will most likely look different depending on what you're purchasing. And like I said, I don't know all the details behind the algorithm, but I've done this so many times with so many clients, and every single time it's different. Some will say pay in 4, 0 interest, pay in 6 months, 0 interest, pay in 12, 33% interest. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but but you get the point. Like it's all different for everyone. So, all right, let's roll with a live view. It's gonna pop in my Shopify account. We're gonna create a product together. Let me adjust. It's really easy. So you can see some of the options over here. Home, my actual orders, products, collections, inventory, your customers. You can see finances, analytics for your business. That's where I pulled the info from. Like I said, they have the marketing. I just don't partake. Then you can look at your online store and your point of sale. So I don't use the point of sale because everything that I do is virtual. I'm not walking around with one of those point of sale thingies getting credit card numbers. But yeah, everything I do is online. So when the client goes to my website, and I can kind of walk you through how that works too. I actually have a store set up with GoDaddy. I just don't use it because at the time that I set up Shopify, they didn't have installment plans. And to be quite frank, I don't know if they have installment plans. And I'm at a point where I'm like, if it's not broke, we're not going to break it. Okay. So let's say we're going to create a product. Let's say we want to call the product Platinum Resume Package. Then you can go here and generate text. Write for Platinum Resume Package for executives over. And it'll generate text for you. And you can decide whether or not you want to use this text. So the Platinum Resume Package offers comprehensive resume writing services for executive level job seekers with over 50 years of experience, or experts, evidence-based, blah, 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 blah. One less thing that you have to do, right? So let's keep, and now that's what's going to show up. So now we're just going to add media. There's only like 5 steps to this. I'm going to go to my Canva. I have a lot in my Canva. So does everyone use Canva or some sort of design tool?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
All the time.
So I like to, let's just call it, I'm just going to use any kind of font at this point. Let's just call this Platinum Package. Then you download, sure. Okay, escape. All right, drop the media in. Ooh, don't care about my life. Upload. Boom, super easy. Your pricing, $12,000, most expensive resume package ever. And then you can do your compare at pricing if you want. You want to charge tax on the product. Don't track the quantity, and you can uncheck shipping. I say uncheck shipping because a lot of times if you don't go in to say that you've shipped it, first of all, what are you shipping? let's start there. You're not shipping any of the resumes. It's all digital. So you can uncheck that anyway. But let's just say you do leave shipping on there. If you don't go back in and check that you've shipped it to the client, your money is literally sitting there and you're not getting paid within 2 to 3 days. It's going to wait until you click that you've shipped it, and then it's going to send it to you between 3 and 7 days later. So just to avoid all that headache, don't click shipping. And then the tracking the quantity, if you forget to actually put like 10 or 15 here, it's going to tell the client that you don't have any of these resume packages for them. So don't track your quantity. And then down here, there's some search engine optimization that you don't have to do. So if someone goes to your page, let's say they're looking up executive level resumes for 50 years of experience, they're going to come up on this plan. And you haven't done anything but create a picture and put it here and you wrote some stuff and stuck it in here. So like I said, less of a headache. So we're going to save it. And now it's live. You can see it's active. And I'm going to go to and I'll be honest with you, never cared about the design on this page because my original website is pristine. This, on the other hand, yeah. I'm just here so that they can have the link, so they can have the payment. Keeping it simple. So the package that we just created is here. Platinum package, $12,000. And you can buy it with Shop Pay. And they're going to pay $1,000 a month for it. Right, I'm going to shrink this down. Oh, okay, now technology hates me again. All right. There we go. All right, so I'm going to take questions in just like 2 minutes. There we go. So when all said and done, the client will get their receipt, and my processes are fully automated. So they're going to get an email that looks just like this. We received your investment. The same thing a client would get if they paid over the phone with me by Visa, MasterCard. They get the same exact thing. So nothing is different in the process, except I, on the back end, have a separate automation for Shopify, but the client doesn't see any of that. They're not privy to any of that. It's just it's a regular process for them. So just to recap, payment plans, more manual. You have to wait to get paid, which is, I don't like that. And you should not start the work until you get paid in full or at least half. And installment plans, less of a headache, more customer control. You get paid up front. That's the biggest thing. Of course, that gives you a competitive advantage because if Mark offers it and Janelle doesn't, and Mark has he has availability to take your resume project, then yeah, I'm going to Mark. Q&A. Let's go. What you got?
All right, I have a question from Joanna. What does the conversation look like when they get declined, when you were on that screen waiting?
Okay, that's a great question. So they see it, right? Because we're doing this and they're actually maneuvering the site. It'll say, I usually say, I'm not sure what the details are of the declination. However, we still have where you can do a payment plan. This rarely happens, but if it does, you'll pay half now and then you'll pay half later, and then we'll get started on the project. So I still give them that payment plan option. It's just like the last resort. Some folks will say, hey, I really want to work with you. I really love you. I'm going to find a way to do it, but I'm not going to push a client to say, let's go find your husband. And maybe if we use his name, and because that just gets weird. So I just kind of lean back onto Shop Pay. They have their own algorithms. Some folks get accepted and some folks don't. Keep it 100.
Hi, Janelle. I have strep throat, so I am not on camera because I look like death.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how familiar you are with PayPal. I try to set up for installment plans. They don't make it easy to like figure out how to do that, and it makes it also seem like it's an option when you add it to your website. But
Mhm,
on the invoice, I did notice that something popped up that said paid later with PayPal,
mhm.
but I have no idea what that looks like on the client side, and I didn't know if you were familiar with that at all.
So I'll be honest with you, Mark. PayPal is also not my favorite. I went through a lot of these before I landed on Shop Pay. Um, I couldn't quite figure out their invoicing deal either, and then they
Yeah,
want
it's
to drop the
tough.
link on their website. It is. They want you to put the little button on your website, and then when you click the button, you may or may not get something that works. And the invoicing thing, just like you mentioned, they have that button there. Um, but then some folks might actually click on the button and end up in the same spot as the Shopify deal, to where they're like, you don't even have to pay for whatever later on. So it really depends on whatever algorithm PayPal has going on too. So they have the option. It just might not be available for everyone.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. No other questions?
Yeah, this is a great presentation, something that I hadn't even thought about. And you rattled through all the different ones that you had done research on. And that's okay. I was just wondering if we sent you an email so we don't have to reinvent the wheel and do all that research.
Yeah.
You would just send us your notes for each
Oh
little.
yeah, for sure. I
Okay.
already plan on doing it. I got you, girl.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So yeah, any other questions?
Janelle, do you still try to get people to pay up front and then only bring up the installment plan option if there's like an objection, or do you bring
Yep.
it up proactively?
I usually wait until they're like, hey, I can't really afford this, but I really want to work with you. That's usually, I keep saying that because that's usually what I hear. And then I'll give them, and sometimes I'll let them sit with it. Hey, I'm gonna send you this. You're gonna get an email after, because that's also automated. So once I close out my form, let's just say the approval to process payment is no, and the partial payment is no, because I have to clear all that stuff. They get an email after that that says, hey, you didn't buy with us today, but if you're interested, we offer installment plans, and it'll all get sent to them, and I'll have a couple of links in the email. And I've actually had clients just go back to the email. Like I'll randomly wake up to orders, like multiple orders, because they'll go back in the email. They're like, okay, I'm ready to do this now. And they'll pay and we get started on the project. So sometimes I just tell them, hey, I know it's an investment, sit with it. I'm never pressed to get a client. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I mean, some folks are all about the sales life, but I feel like if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I love that.
Yeah. Great question, Mark. Anybody else?
I'm not seeing anything in the chat.
Cool. Well, I'm always here. I'll leave this last screen up. You guys can call me, text me, beat me. My phone is right here. And then my email, and then my social media. So if you guys want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm always open to sharing anything I can for free. I'm not that person. So just let me know what you need. I will send this. I'm gonna send this over to Stephanie so that she can upload it to the park website, and I'm here for support.
Like everything, it will be in the webinar library. And Janelle, thank you so much. I always love listening to your presentations because you are absolutely one of the best sharers. So happy that you were able to be on today. Thank you so much. I know everybody probably is now thinking about payment plans in a whole different way. I wish we could do them. Our site won't allow it. So I'm sitting back here going, wait, I want that.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
mean,
everybody. Take care. Stay in touch.
thank you guys.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.